everyone, this is Shel C from Paper Rock TO Studio, and today I'm sharing with you my mixed media 4x4 canvas that I made for Canvas Corp Brands. Some of you know that I'm a creative crew member, and this was one of the challenges that Canvas Corp had given us. I just didn't have my canvas until now, so I'm going to show you my process. I had the idea just from what I read that our canvas is supposed to represent ourselves, our style, what we like, because they're going to be putting them on the blog, like for each one of us, to show, kind of who we are. There's a lot of crew members. There's a lot of us. There's not just like a few. So that's going to be on the Canvas Corp blog, just kind of highlighting each one of us. So that just was kind of a challenge to me. If you watch my channel, I'm eclectic. I'm all over the place. I make all kinds of different stuff. I don't have a style that I continue to repeat. I just keep trying new stuff. So I had to think a while about what I was going to do. But I decided things that I like to do collage. And so of course, I'm going to do collage. So I started out with this canvas with some background collage using text paper and some Canvas Corp Brands tissue paper and some other tissue paper that I had in my stash that had a little music. I always listen to music when I'm creating, and pretty much all the time I have music on, so it's important in my life. So I wanted to make sure that I put a little bit of music on there too. And I'm just using Liquitex matte medium. Something interesting about the Canvas Corp Brands canvases is that they're not gessoed. They're not treated. It's just 10-ounce canvas right onto the frame. So you have the option of putting gesso on it or putting another sealer on it or not. So I didn't put anything on it. I just decided to see how everything would react with different mediums. So I've got my matte medium on there, and then I have places on the canvas where it's just raw. And what was interesting, and it's not easy to see in the video, but the colors of the glimmer mist that I'm putting on now, and I'll explain to you why I'm doing it the way I am, it was darker in places where there wasn't any matte medium, there was no sealer on there when it was just raw canvas. In those places, the color was darker there. So I think if you wanted to have really intense colors, you would leave the canvas raw, and then if you wanted to, mute them down a little bit, then you would put some sort of a sealer on there. That's just my theory. I haven't tried it out. This is the first Canvas Corp Brands canvas I've ever used. But I did really enjoy it, and it seems to be really high quality, so I'll probably order some more. So back to the mist. I wanted to use Canvas Corp Brands stuff that I had on this canvas, obviously, because it's for them, so I would be using their products. And so I wanted to use my mists, which is the predominance of what I have of theirs is Tattered Angels Mist, because I really love the product. It's shimmery and it has intense colors, and there's a lot of colors to choose from. So I wanted to use my mists, so I picked out the colors that I like, which are purples, teals, pinks, and greens. Those type of colors are what I tend to gravitate towards. Bright colors, intense colors, and those particular families. I'm not really that much of a fan of blue, red, brown, those type of colors. I use them sometimes, but they're not my favorites. So since this canvas was supposed to be about what I like, I picked the colors that I like. And then on the edges of each color as I apply it, and I'm not spraying because this is only a 4x4 inch canvas. I mean, this thing would get intensely sprayed if I even spritzed it once. So I'm taking the little plastic pipe that's inside the sprayer and just using it kind of like a brush to apply the color a lot more into specific places that I want, so that I can put a lot of different colors. And then I'm using that gesso to just kind of blend the edges and soften the colors in some places, because I want the background to be somewhat soft, because I'm going to be putting bolder stuff over the top when I complete my collage. So This technique worked out really well for me. I didn't know if it would. I didn't know exactly what would happen. Now see on that purple, it's super, super intense, so I put a lot more gesso on the top of it to kind of mute it down a little bit. It's beautiful purple though. I love it. So I just continue doing this with the different colors, and on my blog post, which I'll link below, I'll give you all the colors that I used and the products that I used, so that were you to want to duplicate something like this, you would know which things to pick up. It's kind of hard to see true colors and true intensity on a video. I wished the video was a little bit more, I don't know. It would be nice if you could see a little bit better. So I was having fun doing this. I probably could have kept doing it forever, but I go ahead and mute a few more places down. I want to make sure that the background collage that I put on there isn't so obvious that it's like, oh, look at these words, and then because there's some text on there, then you'd have to read it. The text that's on there on the paper is purely for design. It's not at all for the words that were actually on the paper, so I wanted to make sure that they weren't glaringly obvious. And then I just use a little tiny brush to brush on a few little hearts on this one side. I do have a plan for what I'm going to do in my head. I kept thinking about it and deciding. For me, my two favorite iconic images, things that I like, are hearts. I draw hearts all over everything all the time, constantly drawing them. And then I also like swirls for some reason. Like swirls, like spirals really fascinate me. So those are the two things that, as far as symbols go, that I really like. So I decided to use hearts on this one because it represents love, it represents friendship, it represents deep soulful feeling and bliss, and so that was what I wanted to use to represent me on my canvas. Now, Canvas Corp Brands has a lot of interesting stuff. They have canvas fabrics, they have burlap, they have ticking, they have all kinds of interesting stuff. And so this piece of corrugated paper and this piece of pink burlap were in one of their paper packs. It's like it comes with a lot of different things together that kind of coordinate. And so I wanted texture, I wanted dimension. These were things that were important to me when I was making this project. So I used the canvas as, I frayed it a little bit and used it kind of as the base of my focal image. And then this corrugated piece, which I didn't want to leave it craft colored because I'm really not that into brown. So I, of course, gessoed it and then sprayed it with a better color. That color is called Dragonfly. I think it's a really pretty color. And then the other half, I'm using that purple again. Purple's probably my favorite color. Of course, I go on little binges of different colors, but I think I always come back to purple, so I wanted to make sure there was a good chunk of purple on there. Then I'm just highlighting the edges, one side with black and the other side with white. Then my next layer is some printed cardstock that came in one of the packs. It's just got dots on it, on black with white. So I wanted to use that one because I think that's pretty cool. It is a heavier weight paper and printed by Canvas Corp Brands. Then this is a piece of actual canvas that came in one of the starter kits. You get 4 1-ounce colors of mist. Instead of the 2-ounce bottles, you get the 1 ounce. And then a couple different samples of things, a few little tags and some canvas and a piece of printed paper, so I guess so that you can try them out. They're just like little mist starter kits. I think they're a really good value. So that was in one of those. And then what do I do next? We'll find out, won't we? Oh, and as I'm going along, I'm adding different scribbly hearts and things on my pieces using my black and my white Posca pins, just to give more detail and visual texture. So then my very top one is going to be greens and yellows, and it's just a piece of white cardstock that I spritzed. It was kind of interesting that it puddled a little bit as I was drying it and made an interesting texture. I liked it. So I'm pretty happy with that. I have this charm from Seven Gypsies, which is one of the Canvas Corp brands. There's Tattered Angels, Seven Gypsies, and Canvas Corp under the same umbrella. And it's a heart shape, so I wanted to put it on there. But it had a little a bail on it so that you could hang it like a charm. And I wanted the bail off, so I cut it off with my wire cutters so that it would just be the wire heart without the little bumpy thing on it. Yep, that's the technical name, bumpy thing. I'm continuing to use my Posca pins to highlight things as I go. So I'm pretty happy with my stack, but I want to add some sketchy black and white hearts in the background. And then I'm going to add some words on that one side. Add a little bit more pink onto those little white hearts that I'd painted on with the gesso. Now this piece of paper is from a Seven Gypsies 6x6 paper pack, and it has a lot of different words on it, just a ton of words. And so I was picking out some to use on my canvas, and I wanted the ones that were white, so that limited it to like maybe 30%, and then I had to find some words that I thought were appropriate. Just cutting them out. Then I'll just save the rest of them for other projects. This sheet will make a cute, you know, like those Tim Holtz stickers that have all the little words. It's kind of like that, only it's just on a sheet of paper. So I'm going to put those on. The process was kind of like making one of those where you take a sheet of text and then you just highlight certain words to make poems. I've seen a lot of journal pages done with that. It was kind of like that, only I cut them out. And I'm attaching them with some more matte medium. Not in a precise way, just kind of like my personality, a little bit tipsy-topsy-turvy. Nothing is ever real precise in my world. So now I'm starting to stack everything using tacky glue, and then I'm going to bring in some foam tape to make it more dimensional in some areas. And that cardboard didn't want to stick down, so I stuck something on the top of it. Now this is foam tape. I wanted one side to be lower than the other, so I'm popping it up with foam tape on one side. And I'm having trouble deciding where to place it exactly. Then I decide to overlap it a little bit. So then when I put my black and white dotted one on, part of it will have to have foam tape and the other part will just be glued, because that purple side is higher than the blue side, if that makes sense. And that worked out just fine. And then I have my little canvas one that I sprayed with the pink Glimmer Mist. Oh, but I'm going to fuss around a little bit with my black and white a little bit first. And my pen got some goop on it, so it wasn't writing very well. Being the impatient person that I am, I never wait until things are dry, and sometimes my pens get paint or glue on them, and I have to clean them off. I've gotten pretty good at cleaning them off, though, and not letting them be ruined. I'm just intensifying that white because it was starting to look pink. It absorbed some of the glimmer mist. And of course, the canvas is bumpy, so where I write on it with markers, it bumps over the canvas, and sometimes I have like little spots left. So that's what I keep filling in on the background there. See me do it over and over. Because the canvas is bumpy, bumpy, bumpy. And then I'm just making sketchy lines around my words to make them stand out a little bit more. And adding a little bit more white in places. Then this is some gold cord that I had in my stash, and I'm making a layer with it by just gluing it down at the top and then wrapping it around, gluing it at the bottom and then wrapping it around again to the top. It makes another heart with like a nice metallic sheen to it. I love this cord stuff. I have had it in silver, gold, and copper, and my copper's almost gone, and my silver is gone, and I have quite a bit of gold left, and I want to find it again. I hope I can. Then, of course, gotta have bling, so I'm digging through looking for some of my flatback rhinestones that are in that thing with all the pearls. I should have them in separate containers. And I'm going to glue some rhinestones on. And that glue will dry clear, but I was impatient in taking pictures, so even in the pictures at the end, the center part has a little bit of white glue left that's not quite dried clear yet because I was impatient and I wanted to get my video done. Then, of course, gotta have splatters, so I'm using my fan brush and the leftover black paint to make a few black splatters to kind of bring it all together. And I've got my pit pins, the very teeny tiniest one, just to intensify the words a little bit because they were getting a little bit pale there for a second. So I'm just going over each letter with my teeny tiny pit pin. It's the extra small. So I hope you enjoy this video and my little canvas, which I think really does represent me quite a bit. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, share. You know, it all helps me. And that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.